When hurricanes happen, you better run for cover or evacuate. These acts of Mother Nature can seriously interrupt people's lives, so we have to take them very seriously. For all the research out there, we still don't really know that much about the ocean. So, in the aftermath of hurricanes, we sometimes end up with some confusing finds. Whether it be mysterious creatures or unidentified treasures, hurricanes tend to reveal the strangest parts of the deep sea. And here at The Hub, we're going to show you exactly what those strange things are. Here are the unidentified and mysterious things found after hurricanes. We are just about to dig through the debris, but before we do, make sure you click to subscribe to our channel. You can't forget about the mysterious things in our videos. Beekeeping equipment. In October of 2012, a hurricane so massive it was labeled a superstorm affected over 24 states. Hurricane Sandy crashed into the entire East Coast from Florida all the way up to Maine, and it even made it as far as Wisconsin to the west. So with winds like that, we were bound to get some strange finds. And along New York's East River, that's exactly what we got. Seen here is several pieces of beekeeping equipment, with the honey still attached. You know those worker bees had to be pretty ticked off after that one. When the storm hit New York City, it flooded streets, tunnels, and subways, and it cut the power off around the city too. Even though we ended up with a lot of interesting things to look at, it was at a massive cost. This hurricane ended up amounting to over $70 billion in the United States alone. And that's not even counting Canada, which was hit for over $100 million in damage. Let's just hope that the beekeeper who lost their livelihood ended up being safe. World War II love letters. Hurricane Sandy was definitely known for its destruction, but it also revealed some special things. Nobody would ever trade the chaos and damage of a superstorm for this next entry, but at least there was a small silver lining. While walking down a beach on the Atlantic Highlands in New Jersey, a 14-year-old made an insane discovery. The boy found a box of several old and mysterious letters. After drying them out with his mother, they were finally able to decipher some of the text. He had found a box of letters from World War II that were 70 years old. Inside the letters were tales of life and love between a woman and her boyfriend from 1942 to 1948. Why did the letters stop, you may ask? Because that's when the two got married. The boy's mother decided that something so special couldn't be lost forever, so she went online and did some research. She soon found that the woman in the letters, Dorothy Fallon, was still alive, and the boy and his mother were luckily able to return her precious memories. If this doesn't sound like the plot to a mystery movie, I don't know what does. Megalodon tooth. Taking a leisurely stroll down the beach with your romantic partner can be one of the most relaxing things there is. You walk side by side, holding hands, finding seashells, and then you notice the biggest tooth that you've ever seen in your life. Well, at least that's how it went down for the next people on our list. A vacationing Virginia couple were on Myrtle Beach in South Carolina a day after the horrible Hurricane Matthew. Remarkably, they were able to find a tooth belonging to the Megalodon, the largest known shark in history. This was an incredibly rare and ancient find, and at first they had no idea what they discovered. But after they showed it to somebody at their resort, they found out that it was millions of years old. The find was later verified by the Ripley's Aquarium as legitimate. This tooth was over 5 inches long and belonged to a shark that could grow to 50 or 60 feet. That's 3 times as large as the biggest great white shark. And this hurricane washed up a profit for the couple too. Megalodon shark teeth can go for over $100. Civil War Cannonballs. Apparently, Hurricane Matthew had a few tricks up its sleeve, because the next mysterious item on our list had a lot of people confused. Bomb disposal teams were sent to a South Carolina beach in October of 2016. The reasoning? A local beach walker noticed some strange looking rocks sticking out of the sand. Upon further investigation, they noticed that the shape was not like anything they'd seen before, so they contacted authorities. The team that arrived confirmed what some already suspected, that these items were cannonballs from the Civil War, over 150 years old. It's likely that they either fell off a ship or ended up on the ocean floor after being sank in a battle. And even though they were incredibly old, they still had to be disposed of safely. Many times the older the explosive, the more combustible. And the explosive team brought them to the nearby Navy base to be destroyed. Hurricanes can sometimes bring destruction in ways that are under the radar as well. Ghost ship. A hurricane's incredible winds and explosive storms have a tendency to shake things up a lot. If you have a boat or property near shore when one hits, you should make peace with it being damaged. Oftentimes, owners are able to repair their boats and homes and make insurance claims, but sometimes their property disappears altogether. The question is, where does all their stuff end up? Well, in 2008, after Hurricane Ike, a boat appeared that looked different than the others. That's because when people saw this boat appear on an Alabama beach, it was old. And we mean very old. It was a ship built in 1918. Originally used to transport lumber, it ran into a damaging storm in 1923. Because this was during Prohibition, the area of the United States history where alcohol was illegal, it's said that the captain may have been committing a crime when it crashed. It wasn't uncommon for ships to smuggle alcohol in these times, so we think that might have contributed to the crash. Either way, this ship is only uncovered after times of extreme weather, like Hurricane Ike. It had made an appearance in the past as well. During Hurricane Camille in 1969, hurricanes have a way of keeping this piece of American history relevant. Nutria Rats. If you get queasy easily, you might want to skip ahead for this next one. In South Mississippi, there's a new type of tradition that has popped up that's making locals sick to their stomach. It started after the hurricane called Isaac hit in 2012. Some packed up and headed to the beach for a day in the sun, and that's when they saw it. Hundreds of bloated, dead creatures. Although some people were alarmed by the sight, there were some experts on the scene who knew what they were looking at. A species of rodent called the Nutria Rat. These are half-land, half-aquatic creatures that sometimes have the nickname of river rats. And this isn't where it ended. Whenever Tropical Storm Cindy hit, the rats were back again, this time with trash and dead birds alongside them. Luckily, a construction crew was hired to clean off the beaches so people could enjoy them again. Away Raft. After Hurricane Matthew, the people of Oak Island, North Carolina were reeling from the pain caused by the storm. But something bizarre caught their eye that made its way onto many local news stations. A still intact raft washed up on the beach that didn't look like anything from the area. The siding of this raft was made up from flour sacks that said, "Flour product of Cuba." If this raft truly floated the entire distance from Cuba, that's over 980 miles away. That's good craftsmanship. The raft was also made up of a few interesting parts. They used the empty containers to give them buoyancy, which makes them float. They also used water bottles on the rudder they made to steer, so the wood wouldn't rub against the boat lining and ruin it. A lot of hard work went into creating a raft for the purpose of traveling to the United States. We can only hope that everybody on board was safe after the hurricane hit. A dangerous liquid. After Hurricane Harvey ravaged Houston and East Texas, a lot of people were struggling to get back on their feet. Rebuilding their homes was hard enough, but when you throw in a mysterious and dangerous liquid, it's a total slap in the face. In Channelview, Texas, a man named Bobby Griffin found globs of shiny liquid all over his property. After calling in authorities, it was revealed to be mercury. Mercury is a dangerous liquid metal that is poisonous to the brain and nervous system. Luckily, it isn't easily transmitted through skin, but the fumes can still hurt you badly. It's said that all it takes to poison the air in a room is just 1 or 2 droplets of mercury. Believe it or not, mercury used to be used in old light bulbs, switches, and even thermometers. Imagine putting that in your mouth. It isn't known yet, the origin of the liquid metal, but they hope to find out soon so they can prevent another contamination. Mr. Griffin used to rent out mobile homes in his property, but the hurricane not only destroyed his livelihood, but also rained down a dangerous liquid. Monster Lobster. After Hurricane Nicole hit Bermuda in 2016, there was obviously a lot of damage. But for Captain Matthew Jones and the crew from the Sanitary Marine Bermuda, there was also the find of a lifetime. As we've discussed earlier, the ocean holds a lot of secrets. It isn't known how many species are out there or what varieties, because we just don't have the resources to explore. So that's why when a fishing boat hauls in a lobster this size, it makes us do a double take. This monster lobster was caught on shore after the hurricane stirred up the ocean floors of Bermuda. Experts on lobsters say that they can live to be over 70 years old, and we'd have to guess that this one was pretty close to that age. How else do you get to be 14 pounds and look like a monster from a horror movie? If your first instinct is to boil some water and get cooking, then you might want to pause. Chefs typically say that the bigger the lobster, the worse the taste. So hopefully, the captain threw this bad boy back. A mermaid? This is weird. A video that went viral in 2016 apparently showed a group of people looking astonished and dragging a mermaid up the shore. Everything from the hair to the fin made this mermaid look like the real thing from folklore. The kicker here that made things seem real was that they claimed this found footage style video was made directly after a hurricane, which hurricane was never mentioned. But we have to admit, when people show you shaky camera footage of spooky things, people tend to believe it. Just look at the Blair Witch Project. People thought that was real for years and years. This supposed hurricane mermaid had other issues though. For one, it was just after a hurricane, so why was the beach so serene? There was a little bit of debris, but only right next to the mermaid. That means something's definitely fishy. And next, why was the mermaid's skin so leathery? If this beach was able to be accessed by people the whole time, why did the mermaid's skin wrinkle up like an old raisin? We could try to explain it away by magic, but that's neither here nor there. And finally, the mermaid's hair wasn't even wet. It was pretty obviously just a wig that had been slapped on at the last minute. No matter what you believe, you've got to give it up to the camera person for their creativity. You can put your umbrella away because that's the end of our hurricane video. Thanks for watching with us at the Hub, and we hope you'll stick around for more. And as long as we don't get washed away, we'll see you next time.